fast charging, CHAdeMO may be moving to CCS. The bottom line is they absolutely have to move to thermal management of the battery. This is a big one for Nissan. If they don't come through, this could realistically be the end of their competitive streak in the EV world. It's already starting to lag behind because of the lack of advancement with the Leaf. Let's see if they can turn it on with the Nissan Ariya. Here we go. Or should I say good morning, as this is a slightly odd time for me to be recording a video, but the reason is it's 10 minutes to 1 AM, which is the middle of the afternoon in Japan, Yokohama specifically I think, and that is where we will be tuning in to the Nissan Ariya, something like that. It's a digital premiere now that we're not able to do these things shows and in person quite so well, but I thought this is actually quite an important vehicle in a lot of ways. It's the successor to the Leaf in terms of Nissan's, continuing legacy in electric vehicles at a time when the Leaf has kind of fallen behind some of its competitors, and this one could be pretty big. So this is going to fit in the same market category roughly as the Tesla Model Y, the Ford Mustang Mach-e, VW ID4, and potentially the Bolt EUV and many others that could come in. It's one of the biggest selling segments in North America. This space is going to usher in the next wave of electric vehicle adoption potentially. So Nissan needs to be there if they have any serious intention to stay in the EV game at all. And you might say that's all very well, but what are you doing up in the middle of the night in your Bolt TV watching this thing? Well, I did the GM EV Day preview and put forward the preview, but people were saying video's out of date already. So what if I put forward what they need to do right now, have a quick, stuff on the lines of fast charging, CHAdeMO may be moving to CCS. The bottom line is they absolutely have to move to thermal management of the battery, have to have all the mod cons of what we should expect from a battery management system, and then obviously a bunch of driver tech in the vein of the Nissan Leaf Pro Pilot, but moving on to maybe rival Tesla and whatever Ford has coming up. So let's, we don't have much time now, I'm going to tune in. There we are, we're tuned in. I'll be watching it from the comfort of my seat here with a cup of coffee. Cheers. And this is certainly along the lines of the most EV geek thing I've done yet. Never know, if this does kick off and we get a good reaction, then maybe it's worth doing again.
You're now watching the live digital world premiere of the all-new Nissan Ariya, the first all-electric crossover from Nissan.
Welcome to this
Makoto Uchida,
for Nissan.
Chief Executive Officer,
Very excited
speaking.
To share this moment with you as we introduce our all-new crossover EV, the Nissan Ariya.
Ariya, okay.
The world we live in is no longer what we see on TV. It is what we witness, what we feel, and what we touch in our daily lives. But uncertainty sometimes gives us clarity and understanding of. Today, I am pleased to unveil
meat on the bone
Nissan's new logo.
Oh, and a new logo as well. Wow. What more could we want? So the front looks great. Boomerang lights, pleasant. It's got a light bar. Every car has a light bar now. It's an EV staple, but I do like the look. It's not a radical departure from Nissan crossovers, let's say. He talked about the Murano, the Rogue. It has those angles, slightly nicer lines perhaps.
An Ariya tailored to what they want from the car.
Okay, so we'll get all-wheel drive, which they call E4.
Ariya also features one of my favorite technology,
Get 2 different levels of
E-pedal.
battery.
which brings
E-pedal is Nissan's one-pedal
first
driving
introduced
solution.
in the Nissan. The e-pedal greatly reduces the need to shift from one pedal to other, making the driving simpler
Nodding.
and more engaging.
Because I've been doing that in the Bolt for
While
going on 4
inspiring
years now.
excitement, Ariya, welcoming and relaxing, it's more like in a futuristic cafe lounge than a traditional automotive cabin. Finally comes
Do you need a coffee shop
the
in your
joy
car?
of connecting
That's what they're going for.
with the world.
Alfonso and Gio, what a way to arrive.
Of course, Miho-san, as designers, we like to arrive with style. You know, it all starts really with our platform, which we call the magic flying carpet, really. Elevated crossover stance, takes the wheels out to the 4 corners. You know, this electrified lamps and the lighting that create the
been
futurism. And
80,
in between, I think, is also the
90%.
Japanese DNA element.
Now let's take a look at the rear
Fiery
design.
language and
You know,
futurism.
is completing this.
But you've got to push the tech and hardware and specs of this thing, surely, if you want to sell it.
So let's go talk to our next pair of experts who worked on this Nissan Ariya and find out what this car is capable of in terms of its driving power and performance.
That's what we'd like to know. Thanks.
Yes, we have a very latest technology, and this car has a very good performance. So we prepared 4 variations. So 2 types of a battery and 2 types of a drivetrain. In combination, we have in total 4 variations.
Four
4
variations?
trims
Exactly.
or
Like to know
And then
more.
first one,
4
two-wheel
styles.
drive, we have 2 types of battery, 63 kilowatt hour and 87 kilowatt hour for the
Okay.
e-force.
Speaking of the battery, what is the charging performance of the Nissan Ariya?
Okay, we're gonna get
Yes,
charge
we
speed here.
introduced a new water-cooled battery temperature control
Okay.
system, so which keep the best performance
So they're gonna have.
even at the high temperature or
management.
low temperature. Then you can
That's what we were waiting for.
375 kilometers in 30 minutes
Still looks like
using the high
CHAdeMO.
power charger.
I see. Within 30
They
minutes.
just showed a
That's
CHAdeMO
right.
plugging
Wow, that's
in.
fantastic.
So the ProPilot 2.0 is the driver assistance system that combines the navigated highway driving with the hands-off single-lane cruising capability. So we have a 3D high-definition map, 360-degree sensing, and accurate GPS. So you have a very smooth vehicle movement, and then no need to be stressed over long highway journey.
Yeah, so we introduced Amazon Alexa. Alexa, open Aria. Alexa, check my battery status.
Battery status is at 31%.
Okay,
You can
connected
drive
services.
160
Oh,
kilometers.
tells you the
You
range.
can do this all inside your house.
Basic
Absolutely,
stuff, but
inside
you know.
your house. That way you know you
solid.
have that comfort when you get inside your car.
36 minutes all in all, and not a lot of meat, I have to say. We'll have to look online now to have a quick look and see if there's more details, confirmed specs, but you know, they did give us some of the key details we wanted to know, but there was a lot of marketing fluff in there. So I'm going to take a quick look on my phone, see what information I can find confirmed in way of specs, and then we'll kind of digest what we saw. Okay, so that's the end of the reveal. I took 10 minutes to browse the headlines, see what people have been reporting now that the embargo is obviously lifted and they've done their presentation. So presentation itself, yeah, the automakers really need to get over themselves, and the you know, especially legacy automakers, the vision of the future trope is tired. It's undercut as well by the fact that everything they're announcing in these vehicles is something, in most cases, that Tesla has already done. Obviously, anyone who watches this channel regularly knows I am no Tesla acolyte. I'm not praising them to the hilt, but when you're praising, you know, proclaiming that over-the-air updates are a revelation, and you're, you know, integrated connected technology, putting a voice assistant in the car, hooking it up to an Alexa or a Google, these things are not quite standard, but you know, just because you haven't done them before and you're late to the game doesn't mean that you're a futurist all of a sudden because you're putting it in your car. And the poor guys who are the design, you know, the performance team, got maybe a couple of minutes to just passively kind of reference something that is the most important thing, thermal management. Now, of course, you know, they don't want to harp on the fact that early generation Leafs lost, you know, ounce of their range and battery degradation was a main problem. They don't want to go in a presentation on baggage that's in their history with battery management. But the bottom line is they have a battery management system now. It is going to be thermally managed. Remains to be seen exactly how that will look, what kind of setup they'll have, but you know, the headline will be that, on the EV press at least, that is present. So fantastic. I was reading up to 130 kilowatts charging, which puts it right in the ballpark of cars that are coming out. The Mach-e the base level will have 120 kilowatts, I think it was estimated, and up to 150 kilowatts on the higher, larger batteries. The VW ID range is hovering in that 100 to 150 kilowatt. The important fact is that it's going to be in the ballpark of those. They're acknowledging this, moving on to a faster charging system and needing to go there. The car they showed, they were presenting in Japan, of course, that's why I'm up in the middle of the night. They showed it plugging in with CHAdeMO, but I'm reading here, we've got reporting that says Nissan transitions to CCS for US and Europe, dealing CHAdeMO a fatal blow. The thing that people lean on most of the time, and this isn't, you know, this is going to be a separate video because this is pretty big in terms of the CHAdeMO standard probably accelerating towards its demise now in North America. So down to, you know, the most important thing, numbers. They were thin on the ground in the actual presentation. We did get the 0 to 60 time, or 0 to 100 kilometers in 5.1 seconds, which is impressive. Got to give it to them on that. I don't know whether that's the all-wheel drive, also known as the E-Force version, but it is 5.1 seconds in anyone's book is like, that's a good second and a half quicker than the Bolt EV. It's right in Tesla territory, you know, not quite up to the performance level models, but this is a car that is supposedly going to be priced around $40,000, probably up to $50,000 with the bigger batteries. But you know, those are going to be some competitive numbers in terms of performance. Same on the battery size. 63 kilowatt hours was now the base model. That's you know, around the level of the biggest model or biggest battery pack on the Leaf. That's at 62 kilowatt hours. So on the E Plus, so they're going, you know, we see a transition away again from, you know, this 40 kilowatt hour kind of battery level being not enough now. 60 kilowatt hours being the kind of baseline, and pushing up, their bigger model will be 87 kilowatt hours. So if you take a kind of conservative efficiency around 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour, that puts you over the 300 mile mark. But basically that larger battery, if they manage to stick to efficiency numbers that are competitive, should be well in that 300 mile kind of category. So what we want from our next car, larger crossover form factor, that's going to be all of them now, it seems, you know, at least a very mid-size SUV crossover shape. 300 miles. We have the charging that we talked about at somewhere between 100 and 130 kilowatts. It's going to be on CCS, so it could potentially be more than that. That's just numbers I've seen being bandied around here. So I have to, you know, although the presentation itself was just full of fluff and way too much futurism, not enough you know, hard numbers and facts, it looks like in what they're actually going to deliver, it's going to be right in the ballpark of, you know, competitive vehicles. Also remember that Nissan still has its $7,500 federal tax credit. If that stays intact, you still have, you know, a significant portion of that credit to take advantage of and deflate their prices a little bit, whereas, you know, Tesla and GM are having to do it through either price cuts with the Model Y that you see now, or the deep discounts at dealerships that GM is offering on the Bolt EV. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Everything that we wanted, or that we were kind of going in hoping but not really knowing for sure with Nissan's recent performance on the electric vehicle stage, not knowing whether they would actually deliver, they delivered it. Moving to CCS, active thermal management, over-the-air updates, 300 miles of range, very fast charging on CCS, and a bunch of other, you know, driver tech, and obviously very clearly redesigned cabin. Outside it looks like a fairly standard crossover. There's some nice, you know, elements. There's some stuff that is just very bog standard Nissan. Internally, I think it looks really good, actually. You know, the Leaf had a pretty traditional look, lots of buttons, you know, nothing offensive. It seemed to be an interesting, you know, movable center console here. I'm not exactly sure what that will be, whether it will be power adjustable or if it's just something that they're, you know, allowing for a little bit of movement and freedom there. But it looked very minimalist. The displays were interesting. They didn't go for the massive tablet stuck on the center console like a lot have done recently on the Nissan Ariya. They seem to be thought out. There's a kind of ID3 vibe in terms of where they are. They're very centered towards the driver. If I've missed any salient details, I hope to cover it in future videos. Obviously it's 2 AM now and it's time for bed. It was time for bed some time ago. But yeah, overall, Nissan Ariya looking very good. They've checked off a lot of the complaints that people had about the second generation Leaf and the limitations that they've had with electric vehicles. And although it's going to be a crowded marketplace come this time next year and beyond, they've got what looks like a solid racer in the stable. So we'll see. It can only be a good thing for electric vehicles. The more we can get out there from brands that people recognize and maybe they trust, the more competent, you know, long range, fast charging, spacious, futuristic electric vehicles from trusted brands, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And the only fear was that they wouldn't make that happen. I think they did. I think we have to give them credit. You know, they've probably taken a lot of lumps over the last couple of years, but it's heading in the right direction. If this comes through to the promise of what the numbers look like and the, you know, the what they're aiming for, beyond all that marketing speak and futurist talk, I think things look good. So well done, Nissan. Let me know what you think in the comments. Always appreciate your opinions. Thanks for bearing with any mistakes or general particular video. I don't tend to record them at 2 AM unless I'm arriving somewhere off a long road trip, so we'll see how this one went. But for now, thanks for watching. Nissan Ariya, nice job, guys. See you next one.